Thank you. Yeah, I see. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I worry about all the time. Okay, let me just quickly see this here. Um, let's- Also, legal, oh, she is. Okay, Denoso. Wow, he's actually doing great. Party precision. Interesting. Party precision. Does that ring a bell? Party precision. Maybe a code case. Representative. Okay. A Samsung. Leo. And okay, here comes everyone. Uh-oh. uh I don't know what's happened here. Okay, let's recreate.
Hi.
Hi, good morning. I have a funny time of it. Excuse me. I'm Judge Person. I'm going to mute everybody until it's your turn, but I do welcome everybody to the court this morning. I've had a little bit of a technical I got to work and everything had been updated and changed, and I do apologize for the late start. So I want to go ahead and just get things moving quickly. I know your time is precious for you. Go ahead and also begin the pretrial docket for the folks that I recognize have been here before and they logged in early. So I want to get Mr. Matson moving forward into the pretrial docket. Mr. Matson is the city's prosecutor. That means that he does not represent anybody here. He represents the state of Texas in the cases that are filed here. But if you are pleading not guilty to your offense, that is absolutely your right, and it means that you're entitled to a trial. We all have the right to have six people take the stand here at the municipal court and decide if we're guilty or not guilty. And when you plead not guilty, you're letting me know, hey, I want that trial. So that involves a conversation with the prosecution, and we're going to try to do that today. And we have the convenience of Zoom to do that so that folks don't have to come all the way over here for that meeting. That's by agreement. So if you don't feel like you do agree, if you'd rather have that meeting here in the building, that's no problem. Let me know and I can readjust how we're doing this. But if you're here, I'm assuming that this meeting is all right with you. So we'll go ahead and just not stand on undue formality and proceed forward. Mr. Matson, I'm actually gonna have you, I'm having trouble with the way the rooms are breaking out. So, um, let me just, okay. Let me go ahead and, yeah, I can do it a different way. So that's good news. I'm gonna go ahead and send you over to meet first with Mr. Glass. Uh,
Morning, Judge.
Good morning. So let's see. Don't join a room until I send you because it's going to create mayhem. Okay. I don't know exactly what's happened this morning. Some kind of update is throwing me off on this whole system, but I think I've got it. So I just want to make some introductions and figure some things out, make sure I'm talking to the folks that are here expecting to address their concerns and their case. I do see a person labeled Samsung, and it looks like you might even be in a hospital situation. And I've hit you with an unmute to just talk to me for a minute. Let me know your name.
Hi, my name is Summer McAdoo.
Oh, hi, Miss Mac. It's been a little while since we've met. We've seen one another. Um, uh,
Yes, it's been a while.
yeah, I haven't seen you in 6 or 7 years, I think, and I do appreciate you. Um, I know that you'll have that meeting, but I'm just going to change the screen for purposes of getting keeping track of your case. I saw you log in, but I didn't know who it might be.
Yeah,
And
for some reason, it wasn't letting me like log in all the way at first. And I had to go back out and go back in to
I'll
get
just
you back up.
I'm just going to assure you that I've been having that same problem this morning. So let's stay patient. And I think we've got it nailed down for you. But if for any reason anybody gets disconnected, just dial right back in. And with my apologies, I'll let you right back in. I've noted when people logged in, so you won't lose your place if that happens. And hopefully that doesn't happen to anyone. But I just want to set the expectation that just come right back on in and we'll keep going. Okay. And Ms. McAdoo will be with you shortly now that I know where you are.
All
Uh,
right.
thank you. And a gentleman named Samsung, if I could just find out, I want to make sure I have the right case pulled, the right file. If you could just let me know your name, I would appreciate it.
Are you talking? This is Bender. Hi,
Thank
Judge.
thank you. Hi, Mr. Bender. Thank you so much.
I
Uh,
have Mr. Glass with me as well.
who is with you?
Mr. Glass, Kirk Glass.
Okay. Did you want to, have you and Mr. Glass talked about whether you should go on into that meeting with them? Do you want me to send
Uh,
you over there?
I'm here. I'm here for this meeting.
Yeah.
Uh, any additional? I've already met with him.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay. That's up to you and your attorney. I'm going to just keep track and thank you, Mr. Bender. I know that we do need to talk too. So I'm going to pull that file in just a half second.
Okay.
Um, Wait a minute, just 1 minute. Mr. Glass is here he is here on another case as well. That's why I'm getting turned around. But I do have the representation letter from Mr. Glass regarding you. And let me just kind of look at it and see what we're able to do, because I do think that I think you've already waived that right. I may put you in a different meeting with your attorney to talk about it. I'll address that as soon as he comes back out. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you. I've got everything I need to make an address fully of the issues at hand. Okay.
Okay.
But I'm glad to know I do recognize you. I apologize, but I do meet a lot of people. Okay. And then I had one more person, Party Precision. If you could just tell me your name that I might have on my file, that would help me a lot.
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. Larry Woolard.
Okay. Okay.
I apologize. We do a lot of Zoom meetings with our business, and that's why I came up. And I was, I hit the right button, I guess, and now you can see me.
Yeah, no, I can see you. I had no idea that your name, because it comes up as a business.
Yeah, that's our business. I apologize.
I
I
don't care. It's
one of
fine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. I changed it just for this meeting, and the moment you log off, it's going to go right back to what you had before.
Okay,
Just like to keep track so that there's a semblance of a line.
absolutely.
Most of us have an expectation that it be as fair as possible, and I try to stick to that because we have an expectation that there's a line, and who would keep track of the line? I would keep track of that line, so that's what I'm doing.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Matson, I do have a little wrinkle. Are you unmuted, sir? Okay, I have oh, your volume's maybe way down. I have everybody turn up like max. So I have a rep letter from Kirk Glass regarding Mr. Bender's case, and that case went to trial, and we had a bench trial back in April, and we had a letter regarding an appeal filed 30 days late. I mean, 30 days, which is outside the timetable. So I'm not really sure if y'all are trying to address that. It's a bit unusual. I can address that with Mr. Glass as well. I just did not know if y'all spoke about that before I move him over. Do you want to talk to him first?
He brought it up, but I have no knowledge other than the fact that Mr. Bender was convicted at trial.
Okay. All right, I'll move him back over then. Let's address it in open court instead. And we're going to also talk about the Ludwig case, I do believe. So I'm going to pull that file too. Okay, let's start with the Hans Ludwig case. And
Your Honor,
single accusation of speeding. Where are we going? Which direction are we heading on this case? If I could hear from the prosecution.
we have an offer on the table, Judge. If we could reset to the next Zoom date, I believe Mr. Glass and I will be able to wrap it up before then.
Okay, that's great. Either way, the court is available. July 22nd. Will that work for you, Mr. Glass?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Matson, I think it will work for you, but I want to give you the courtesy of asking.
Yes, Judge, that's fine.
Okay, great. I'm going to talk to Mr. Glass about the Bender case. I'm going to move you forward with Summer McAdoo, and she's in a hospital setting, so her lights are down. But let me move her over to talk with you about her matters. Miss McAdoo, I'm moving you over to that meeting. Thank you. You'll unmute when you get over there. Okay, Mr. Glass, we're going to send the reset over on the Ludwig case.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm just making notes for the court's files. Give me 1 second. On the Bender case, I did receive your letter. That case went to a trial on April 9th with a guilty finding and 30 days to pay. Appeal is, as you know, I believe, triggered by the motion for a new trial being filed within the day, and then a 10-day window to file, an appeal bond. But we received your representation letter and also a letter saying that an appeal would be filed 30 days after. So I did not send that over because, if it was on the line and I was like, I don't know, I'm not sure, but it's not on the line. So I did make a special room for you and Mr. Bender to break out and talk if y'all would like to do that, or if you want to talk to him just separately at your office. But I'm not sure what y'all are asking to do at this point. The option to appeal has expired. So the only thing could be looking at is, if there's a hardship as defined. The conviction, though, I'm not able to remove at this point in time. So I did want to let you both know that in open court. I have, no, I closed the second room because I was having too much trouble with it. So what I was saying, Mr. Bender, is get with Mr. Glass. Y'all talk a little bit. And, the case is pending. So we'll want to hear from you and or your attorney within the next week or so about it. Okay.
Judge, just so that I make sure I understand, this morning was set for a status conference.
Well, yeah, I put it for you and I to just have a conversation because I got a letter about an appeal 20 days outside of the timetable.
Right. Um, I was just recently retained on this.
Yeah, I
Uh,
did all that, and that's y'all's relationship. But
which, by the way, your court clerk,
yes,
holy cow, I got a response from her at like 11:59 last night. So,
yeah. You know,
wow.
the crazy part about being able to work remotely is the expectation is that we work all the time. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that we're not the only ones that's happened to. I'm sure all the workforce deals with that. It's not unique for us, but let me give y'all time to confer. And just, we're court of record as of January 2025. No, I'm sorry, where are we? January 2024. So we have a different, set of rules for about a year and a half. And you and Mr. Bender might talk about the options available, and maybe just if we could hear from you. It's not set for anything because it was set for payment by May, uh, by May 9th. So we're over time. Technically, the case would head to warrant. I've put a placeholder there for right now. That's not happening. Okay. Because you're there on the case. So you have a purpose. It's just that you're post judgment, and there's a limit to representation post judgment.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, of course. And we'll send the Lew case information over to you, through the email that we used for the meeting today.
So you want to hear from me within the week?
It would be helpful to hear from you within the week, because if I don't, I have to just start figuring out what I'm going to do.
Yep.
And
All right.
that's just a reminder to the gentleman and yourself. Hey, this is pending, and now I'm setting it for a status to come on in. Because I do a lot of post sentencing. It's different here. A lot of times, folks, it's very different in this type of court, where we don't jail for, first of all, we do not jail for inability to pay. And two, solely, anyone can get a warrant if they just blow it off. But if you're working with us, we're working with you, which means I do a lot of post sentencing meetings with people. And these are really sentencing updates. If someone is in a payment plan and they lose their job, this is part of my announcement sequence. So I'm actually killing two birds with one stone. This is not directed at Mr. Bender at all. It's really information for everyone. But if I find that somebody has been sentenced to something that they cannot do, then I am expected, and I have tools to work on that with that person. And that includes a lot of things like reductions, whether they might be qualified to do alternative work, doing community service. Sometimes people have a hardship that is such that they need a waiver, and I just need to figure those things out. So a lot of times I do a lot of, like, unfortunately, I get nosy and I have to find out people's business. But so it's bifurcated here way more than when you get over to county, where you're dealing with a probation office that basically does that work for the judge.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for the heads up, Judge. I appreciate it.
No problem. Always willing to do as much as I can to spread the word. A friend of mine from law school contacted me yesterday about her daughter having a ticket not here, way down in San Antonio, and I said, listen, municipal courts are different. It's a different thing. So, but the rules are still the rules, and we follow them so that everybody knows what to expect. So just black letter law, with as much of accommodation as I can give. So I'll let y'all go, you and Mr. Bender. Mr. Bender, you're free to stay here and hang out with us as much as you would like. You can hang up whenever you would like, but I'll let you know that it's best right now to get with Mr. Glass. He's going to have the most up-to-date law, and you and he can figure out what y'all need to do.
Thank you, Judge.
Of course. Thank you, Mr. Bender. Thank you, Mr. Glass. Okay, so I do want to, y'all can hang up whenever you want on those two. So what I want to tell you is a few things. When you're given a ticket, if you're given a citation, those are methods for accusing someone. That's what a ticket is. It's an accusation. And when you give a plea, you're giving your answer, you're giving your response to that accusation. There are three options for pleading in a court like this one: guilty, not guilty, no contest. If you plead guilty, you're saying, I did this. Okay, you're admitting that offense as charged. You're waiving trial. You're moving towards sentencing. I'm going to talk about sentencing in a moment because I need to review the pleas first. The second option, or a second option, is if you plead no contest. When you plead no contest, you're saying, I'm not admitting it, not denying it. I got a neutral plea, no contest, not contesting it. Move forward with sentencing, judge. Okay. Moving that case into sentencing. Like I said, I will talk about sentencing in a moment. The effect is the same in that we move to sentencing when you plead guilty or no contest. It's just that in one setting, you're saying, yes, I did this. And in the other, you're saying, you know what? Neither. Just move forward with sentence. So it's kind of a neutral plea, but it moves you into a sentencing process at that point. In other words, you can be sentenced in a municipal court, well, in any court, without admitting or denying an offense, which seems strange, but actually there are a lot of reasons for it, just in terms of how that plea at a later time, if it were ever to come up again, could be used. Okay. Now, if you plead not guilty, you're letting the court know you're invoking that right to trial. And we all have the right, as I said a few minutes ago, to take the case into court and have the state then is required to prove that case. And we're meeting online today, even though those are contested cases. And normally contested cases happen here in the courtroom only. So we're by agreement. But the reason that I do that is, some people drove through Temple on their way to, say, the airport, and they're not coming back, right away. So, if they're not coming back to this area, we could still just, sort it out with them maybe, or see if they need to make the trip for trial. Okay. And that can happen. And then there are people who can't be here, for a variety of reasons. So anyway, we're just doing that. Let's see. I've got a note real quickly. Mrs. Odes, excuse me. I did get your message. You're meeting with me. You're my first up, but I need to get through announcements first. I do understand. So, okay. So if you've pleaded not guilty, you're meeting with the prosecutor. I'm trying to move him as quickly as possible. And if you plead no contest or guilty, or if you've already pled and been found guilty, you're talking with the judge. That would be me. And let's talk a little bit about sentencing. State law is really clear that if we plead guilty or no contest, we're generally speaking, and this is how law kind of works. There's a rule and then there are exceptions, So the general rule is you're found guilty, it goes on your record, you pay the fines and costs. So let's start with payment of fines and costs. Everybody's situation is pretty different, and we have different, concerns. Someone may have, for example, a disabled child. Another person may have no children whatsoever. Those are very different situations. So what I'm uniquely qualified to do is to look at that and see if that is a reason why something isn't getting paid, or if we have a hindrance to completing the case. My goal in sentencing is not to hurt people. It's really to find a way to reasonably close that case in a reasonable amount of time. And I have to take in a variety of circumstances there. So I may be asking you personal questions because I need to get answers to see what tools are available to help you. For example, the example I gave earlier, a person sets up a payment plan, and either they lose their job and now they can't make the payment plan, or they set up the payment plan, but gosh, it wasn't really a realistic plan to begin with. So we need to look at that, because the goal is always to not jail you simply for the fact that bills are tight, and we don't do that. If you're here like you are and you're reasonably trying to resolve the case, then I'm reasonably trying to resolve it with you and not go to last resort, which is warrants and jail and things like that. Okay. So I can make adjustments and look at that with you. And if you've been set to talk to me today directly, that's probably what we're doing. Okay, there's some reason I need to talk to you. Either I just received information and so forth. So that's going to look pretty individualized. All right. If your plea has not yet been accepted by the court, then I'll work with you there first, and then we'll talk about sentencing. So sentencing is, in a way, there's a fluidity to it. It can change a bit due to circumstances. All right. And the law lets me do that depending on things that happen with folks. And so I may be asking you a lot of questions to zero down in on where can I be of assistance in a way. Now, the second thing is, it was the first thing I said, though, if you plead guilty or no contest, it goes on your record. So let's talk about what dismissal options are available in a municipal court. There are 4. Okay. Now, I'm a big fan of just disclosing everything I've got, put it on the table, and let people figure out what they want to do with the information. So I can't apply the law to your case and tell you what you should do, but I can, and that's why people hire lawyers, is they talk to you about that. And I can't give legal advice, but I can tell you options and what's available. So first thing I want you to know, options available for dismissal, there are 4. Compliance dismissals, I'll tell you what that means and how that works in a moment. Moving violations can be dismissed through a driver safety course. Deferred dispositions, which are uniquely done here in the municipal court. I'll talk about that in a moment. And teen court, which we may not have any teens here, so I might not go real in depth into that. But if you happen to be in middle school, high school, or homeschool, talk to me and we'll see what we can do. I'm just going to leave that one on the table. The first one I talked about, compliance dismissals, the law has to specify that it is a compliance dismissal. So I don't expect people to know what that is, okay? But I do know what that is. And the law does allow me to say, hey, this is something I could dismiss if you do the following things. Can we get that done? So I will just immediately start trying to get you there, because I assume that everyone would want a dismissal if they could get a dismissal. I mean, I think that's probably 100%. We'd all rather the case just go away. So if there's something simple like that that saves you money and keeps it off your record, I'm allowed to step in and say, do you want to do this? And hey, it looks like you might be qualified. Let me see if I can get you there. Sometimes we can't get there, sometimes we can. So you'll see me doing that probably here in a moment. The second way to gain a dismissal, and this really is for moving violations, in the state of Texas, we still have, I hope we keep it, a driver safety course option. And this is an option for moving violations where people are accused of a moving violation and they have to have a certain type of license, which is generally a Class C. There are some military exceptions and things, so I'll walk people through those pre-qualifiers, okay, is what I call them. If we can get you pre-qualified, then we move into that program. If you finish it properly, you get a dismissal. You also happen to save some money. So I'll tell you that, Texas is the #1 state for death and dismemberment on our roadways. We kill more people in Texas than any other state. And by the way, we kill more people 25 and under than any other state by a lot. So the goal will be to get that course completed. And there are certain times when we can do the driving safety course, and there are certain rules to it that if you don't meet the restrictions, the pre-qualifiers, then that's not an option. Okay. So I don't expect that everybody woke up thinking about how to pre-qualify for a driver safety course option. I probably did. So, I'm just going to walk you through that because I'm allowed to do that on a plea of guilty or no contest. So those first 2 dismissal options, I'm taking the lead. I'm allowed to on a plea of guilty or no contest. And I'm just moving into the case and seeing what we can get done. The third option, the last one, because I've already talked about the fourth one, teen court. The third option is an option called deferred disposition. A deferred disposition or deferral is just what the words mean. Deferred means delay, and disposition is to finish, make final. I delay making your case final. I put a court order in place. The court order is a piece of paper. You will have a copy. It will dictate and list what you have to do to accomplish a dismissal. And then you're set, free to go get it done. We'll address things like when are you paying and so forth and how. If there's a course due, a record, a certification, proof of compliance, something like that. This option is a really good option where the other two don't work. It costs more and there's usually a little more involved. Okay. So I assume the easy button is what we all want. Again, I make certain assumptions. Sometimes those assumptions aren't really correct for you. There are people I encounter every now and then that say time is more important than money for me. Okay. So some people, that's not their concern. There are people who say, it's the conviction that's the hard part for me. So you need to speak up if you're, if I'm trying to get you into a driving course and you're not going to do it, I'm not trying to waste your time. I'm just assuming that most of us would probably sacrifice a little time to save money and not have a conviction. But again, that may be different for you. So you'll have to let me know if you have different, values. So, because we're all different. So the deferred disposition in a Class C court, what makes it kind of unique from other types of courts is that in a Class C court, you can, at the beginning of your case, when you enter your plea, you can ask the judge directly for a deferral. Guilty or no contest, I would like a deferred. It's on the sheet you filled out. I don't attach a long letter, although I do have information on the website about it, because most people, I just find that people it just makes it harder. So let me know if now that you know what it is, you might want to do that. But otherwise, if you don't request it, I'm not supposed to take the lead and drag you into that one. Okay. You're supposed to speak up and say, hey, I want this. The judge is then supposed to say yes or no. But the judge is required to really listen and take it into consideration and give it due consideration, which I will, of course, do. So that's how the deferral works. That's the main thing. Today, what I'm trying to do is see what is our next event on this case. Are we finishing? Do we need another court date? And you should be thinking about it that way too. What is my duty to the court in terms of time and attention to the matter at hand? And that's true whether we're guilty or not. Okay, so just be aware we're required to keep up with it, even if we disagree. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and ask Mr. Matson if we could, let me just get the file pulled on Miss McAdoo's case. And if I can get an update as to where we are, I would appreciate that.
Judge, if we could reset this to the next Zoom date as well to give Ms. McAdoo some time to submit some documents, I think we'll be able to wrap it up before then.
That would be great. Ms. McAdoo, I have July 22nd available. Can we do a Zoom date meeting on that date? I'm so sorry. I forgot to ask you to unmute.
Sorry, are you there?
Yes,
Can you
ma'am.
hear me now?
I absolutely can.
All right, let me look. You said July 22nd,
Yes, ma'am.
Tuesday. I believe that will work.
Okay. I'm going to reset you onto that date. I'm going to send an email to the email that we used for today. Will that email still work?
1432cheyenne.com. I mean Cheyenne@gmail.com. I believe so.
I believe
I
so.
believe that.
We'll call if it's not going through.
Okay. I didn't receive the one on March 20th, but then the day when they sent it, I received it. So
Okay. Call and confirm that email if it's not the one she's talking about.
it
Is it,
should be the 1432 Cheyenne at
We-
Gmail.
that's what we have. Okay.
All right.
We will send it to that email. Okay.
All right.
Call us if you don't receive it. Okay?
Okay. And when should I be expecting to look for it?
Later today.
Today. Okay. Great. All right. That way I can star it and put it into favorites and easy to find. That
Of course.
way.
And it'll be the same one you've been interacting with, the court online help. Okay? All
All
right.
right.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you very much.
You're
I hope
good.
you have a blessed day.
And you too. Thank
All right.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, Mr. Matson, I'm going to move you forward. And next with, I just need to get the name. Where is she? Kate Nowatzki. Did I say the name correctly or close?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to move your case over, and you and Mr. Matson will have an opportunity to visit about that case.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Y'all have a great day.
And thank you, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. So if I could, and I do see, uh, let's see. Let's see. Aki Aitzabamo, if you could unmute. Hi, I'm Judge Person. Are you able to unmute?
Sorry, I thought I unmuted myself. Yes, I'm here for Joshua Koloff.
Okay, yeah, I thought you might be from the McMahon Law Firm.
Yes.
We'll get to that case. You're a little late for court. I understand you may have had other courts to be in. So
Yes, I did.
completely get it. But there's a few people maybe ahead of you, and if you'll just stay patient with the court, we'll definitely address your cases today that you have pending. Okay?
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, and I would like to talk to Ashley Odes, and I'm sorry if I'm saying your name incorrectly, ma'am. You help me say it right, okay?
It's Odie. Yes, ma'am. You said it right. I apologize.
You're okay. You're okay. Don't worry. It's you've got a lot going on. We had community
Yeah.
we're talking about. So you had community service, and I'm definitely seeing that, you have a disabled person in the home, and you have a lot happening, and you have a real
Yes.
concern too with ability to get to and from not only a job but community service. Is that still the case?
Yes, ma'am. I don't have a vehicle. Still am going through a divorce. That's why I didn't do the community service. That wasn't quite on my mind at the time. I do apologize.
Listen, take a deep breath because it's going to be okay. Okay. Take a deep breath.
Okay.
And just understand, I did read your letter and I saw what was,
Okay.
and I just wanted to kind of make sure where we were. In
Yes,
my,
ma'am.
because that's just a few weeks ago, you dropped me a letter and that's why we set you to meet. And I asked the clerk to go ahead and let me just confirm where things were with you. What is
Mhm.
appropriate for me to do at this time is to waive your fines and costs due to the undue hardship.
Okay.
And so what happens then, an undue hardship is defined as a hardship that, try as you might, it's just happening. And it's not through fault. It's just circumstances are not lining up in your favor right now. And so I am able to waive your fines and costs, which means your balance is going to zero out today. You won't have an obligation to the court anymore. Okay. You've already been found guilty some time back. So that part is,
Yeah.
but the part where you owe money and you could be arrested for not paying it and so forth, that's all. I'm getting rid of that today because I have the power to do that. And it is absolutely appropriate in this case. And I did read the information that you gave me. And I just wanted to confirm that was still an ongoing thing so that I could go ahead
Yes.
and take action. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. You hang in there. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. It's going to be all right. It's just, one step at a time. And sometimes
Yeah.
the days feel long when it's like that. So
Yeah, definitely. I really do appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Always communicate with us if you have matters before the court. But hang in there, okay?
Okay.
Okay, with the thanks,
Um,
you are free to go, ma'am.
hang on, baby. I'm coming, Mama.
You can,
Okay. I just
you're good.
press leave.
Yeah, you can just leave or I'll hang you up either way.
Oh,
Either way,
okay. Okay. Thank you.
yes.
Leave.
I don't
Oh,
kick
okay.
people out. I help them. Mr. Denoso, you were on screen and I know I've been taking a few minutes, but let's go ahead and get you back. Hi.
How's it going?
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you, Judge? I'm good.
I'm all right. Let me kind of tell you where we are. We're trying to, we've been on a deferral, right? Remember the deferral that I talked about?
Yes, ma'am.
Part of that deferral was I wanted you to get your license validated. But I got a note from you in March that you wanted to speak with me about it. I went ahead and amended the order to give you more time to get that in because it was due in April. And it sounded like what you needed was more time to get it done. And so I extended it from April to June. And our deferral ends at the end of June, at the end of this month. So I did set a show cause because I'm supposed to now be trying to get that license from you or to figure out what's happening. And let's see. So that's kind of where we are. What's happening with your license? Do you know how to get it back?
Yes, ma'am. So the person that is helping me, navigate through all this stuff is my stepmom. She's pretty familiar with uh, that kind of stuff. And whenever I do go on the website for to check the eligibility of your license and whatnot,
Yes.
whenever I do go on there, there's quite a bit of stuff that I needed in order for me to be able to make my license eligible.
Yes.
I believe I've done everything. There was a ticket even with Judge Wilker.
Did
Hopefully I'm saying his name right.
Judge
Um,
you're in Temple, the
yes,
JP?
yes, ma'am.
That's Judge
Uh,
Wilson. Yeah.
so there was a ticket that I had to take care of with him. I've taken care of that. I had to get an SR-22. I've had that for a few months now.
Great.
Even though I'm not driving, I had to show that I have insurance. So me and my fiance got put on the same insurance. Um, she does, again, I don't want to get in any trouble while trying to take care of this. So she does take me to and from work,
That's
just to be safe and whatnot.
absolutely.
Um, but so she has not been working for a few months, and she just started a couple weeks ago. And so I've been the one mostly paying for everything. That way she could, take care of our little one. Because
Yeah.
honestly, we can't really afford.
The Arkansas job. I read that. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was gonna move to next. Is right now it was kind of rough with me being the only one with the job right now.
Yeah.
Again, she did just start working again, so we're about to get back in the cycle of being able to be a lot more financial stabilized. And I got a job opportunity in Arkansas, and it'll really, really help us out as far as our money situation. I'll get a pay raise and a promotion as well. So a little bit of probably like two pay raises I'm looking at. And I just wanted to touch base with you on that and see if there's anything that we can do because I believe all I have left is my reinstatement fee that I need to take care of. And that should be the last step of my license situation.
Okay.
And I'm waiting to get paid again, and then I will be able to take care of that. We had to switch to a month-to-month contract with our apartment because we plan on moving or whatnot,
Yeah.
and that raised the rent about $400. So it kind of hurt us a little bit, and that I would have been able to take care of that, but given the money situation, it's a little tough right now.
Yeah. I
But
do.
again, this
Mr.
is like an
I'll
investment.
talk to you for a moment, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Hold that thought. Stay right there. Let me get Mr. Matson moving forward because I've got some
Yes, ma'am.
ideas for you and I have a quick question. So
Okay.
just stay on hold. Stay right there. I'm going to be right back to you. Mr. Matson and also Attorney Nowatzki, if I could, let's talk about, can we start with the Altif case?
Sure, Judge. For both Altaf and Charnette, there's an offer that she's going to need to take back to her clients. So if
Okay.
we could reset those two to the next Zoom date, that would be great.
That right now I have that setting for July 22nd. Will that work for you and your law firm, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Then let me make some notes for the clerk to get going. We're going to send that to the email that we used for today. Will that also work?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And then where are we on the Reginald Williams case?
There was an offer on that one as well. I didn't know Caterpillar had authority to accept right now, or if you need to confer with your client on that one as well.
Give me 1 second. We are able to accept that today.
Okay. Then,
What-
Your Honor, we're going to enter a deferral agreement on that one.
Okay.
It's going to be 120 days with a 6-hour course due by the 60th day, and the balance will be due within 30 days.
Is that your understanding, Ms. Nowatzki?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, then I will email that deferral order over to you, okay? Later this morning, as soon as the clerk has an opportunity, she'll do it. It'll come to the email that we have on file for you. We need the signature back, and then we're all good to go, okay?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do you have anything further that the court needs to address before I let you go?
No.
Then you are free to go with the thanks of the court at your leisure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, Mr. Matson, I'm going to move you forward and keep you going here. So let's go ahead and Jason Parker case. Mr. Higginbotham is there, and let's move y'all over to the breakout room. And Mr. Donoso, here's
Yes, ma'am.
okay, here's what I think, and I've already done it on the order, and we're going to send this order over to you. Feel like you have done what I would call substantial compliance. That means to me, you're taking every step you can take as soon as you can take it, but you're just not getting there. And I don't want to keep extending this out further and further and making it harder for you. I don't want you to give up on getting that whole thing resolved.
Yes, ma'am.
As far as the court is concerned, I'm going to waive the requirement for the license to be presented to me as a condition of your deferred. I'm hearing what you're doing. You're talking like you understand it. I know enough about it to know when people do and don't understand it. So you just keep going with it. As far as I'm concerned, your case is in compliance and it's getting scheduled now for a dismissal June 30th. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about that?
Yes, ma'am, but not necessarily about that. It was more so about the Arkansas move. I definitely wanted to touch base with you first because last thing I would want is me and my family to move because of this opportunity, and then something come about to where I'd have to move back to Texas and kind of fall back on not being able to take this opportunity.
Yeah, I don't have any kind of physical hold on your person. And I never did. Okay. You're free to move about the country. And if that's what your family decides to do, then you do that. The only thing that you owe this court is until your case is dismissed, I just need your current address. So when you get a new one, email to that court online help and let us know, hey, I've moved. And that way I can make sure that, we're communicating with you through the proper channel.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Could I get that through the clerk, that email address?
You got it today because you're here. We sent,
Okay, got you.
yeah, it's the email that we sent the meeting information to.
Yes, ma'am.
So where we sent that to you, you're just hitting reply. Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll send you a copy where I removed the requirement for the license to be presented by June 5th. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
But I did not extend your deferral past what we already had, which was June 30th. You'll see that on there. Okay?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. Any further questions?
No, ma'am. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you, and you too. Mr. Matson, we're juggling. Let's keep on moving. We're talking about the Parker case. Is that right?
Yes, Judge. I already sent dismissals over on these cases. I sent them earlier or late last week, so they may not have been seen by you until I
I do
mentioned it.
apologize, Mr. Higginbotham. I was amazingly, I was on a vacation, and those are right here, and I'm going to sign them right now, and we'll send them over to you. It's unusual that I'm on a vacation, so at some point we'll get, a sub judge in to do things. I am signing those. We're going to email them to you. And I believe that's going to conclude everything. Let me just make sure that's a correct statement. It is. So we'll email those over to you here shortly, okay?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Higginbotham. Do you have anything further that you need to address with the court?
That's all we have this morning.
Okay, then you're free to go with the thanks of the court.
Right. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Okay, and moving Mr. Matson further along, let's see. Kyra Leal, let me go ahead and get you on screen and your audio working, and let's move y'all over. Y'all are talking about the Jonathan Phillips case.
Yes, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and if I could talk to Robert Bender. Oh, no, I've already talked to Robert Bender. Please excuse me. We've done that. And then also Larry Woolard. Thank you, Mr. Woolard. If you could unmute, that would be fantastic. And I'm pulling your file while you do that.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you this morning, first of all?
I'm better than I deserve, I normally say. So thank you. How are you doing?
I probably echo that.
Yeah.
Think.
The circumstances, I still am very blessed. So thank you. And I hope you're having a great day so far.
Yeah, I think gratitude goes a long way in our lives. If not for other people, definitely for ourselves.
Yes, ma'am.
I did read your, message, and
it was brief. I was kind of, I'm really, I don't mean to step over you. Yeah, I've been beating myself up over this for the last, and I'm sorry if I get a little emotional because I've been all over the place with this. I made a really poor decision, a very bad impulse based on, is it okay that I continue? I'm sorry. Am I going?
Sometimes it's a good idea to just let it out.
Yeah. So I'm 46 years old, and I had mentioned earlier, well, you saw our Party Precision logo. So my wife and I have a business, and we've been going through some financial stuff lately, on top of taking on the new experience of owning a business. I retired from my career and let her pursue her career. Our kids are grown and out the house, and we have grandbabies, and we've been struggling a little bit lately. We're still recovering from last year's storm with home repairs. We had some problems with our insurance taking care of a lot of the repairs, so I've been paying out of pocket for a lot of things. The business started doing really well, and then it kind of took a turn, and so I've been I had my back up against the wall. And Your Honor, listen, I'm not trying to give you excuses. What I did was, it was stupid. I'm just trying to give you an explanation. I think I let my financial setbacks in the moment. I'm at the store. I'm scanning my groceries, and I'm like, oh, well, I noticed what I was doing, and I said, I could save a few dollars and just keep scanning these, and as soon as I get done, the guilt just draped over me. And I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, my life is not bad enough to get myself in this position over $30 worth of groceries, but I guess I've been going through a lot of trying to really keep us, we're both working 6-7 days a week, like 60, 70 hours a week. I mean, we're really putting in the work, and then I go off and something stupid like this. And I'm like, what am I thinking? I have a good life. I shouldn't be wasting y'all's time over something stupid like this and getting myself mixed up in something that was, I was very apologetic from the very beginning. I even, with the loss prevention people, and they said, look, it's totally fine. We get it. You know, they still allowed me to come shop at the store, you know, and I even called the next day and I apologized to the store manager, you know, and it was because I feel that guilty about it. And I'm sorry for wasting your time. And I know there's so many more important things that go on with the court system and things like that. And I've just been really beat myself up over this thing. And so I guess my concern today, why I felt like, you know, since thank you and giving me the opportunity to come speak with you is that, you know, I do work 2 jobs right now because the party planning business doesn't really, it's not our bread and butter, you know. Right now we're where we do maybe 6 to 7 events a year, but you know, bills are bills. And so I also do Uber and DoorDash as well for extra money and to stay busy because I'm a very busy person and we need the money obviously. And my concern, Judge, is Your Honors, they do have periodical background checks, and I know that if this was to go on my record, that there's a very good chance that I'm going to lose the opportunity to be able to have that. You know, again, that job. I stepped away from my career 20 plus years with McLean's in Temple. I was there for a long time. They put me through school. I did very well there, and anyway, I'm sorry. I know I'm rambling here, but that's what I'm here for, in hopes that maybe you may, you know, look at what the circumstances are, and that there is a chance that I might be able to, you know, I've owned up to it. I feel horrible about it. I don't, you know,
I'm gonna hit you on a pause button for just a. I'm listening, okay, and I've heard you, and I have some thoughts about what we might do next, okay?
Okay.
Within your case. So give me a moment, just pause for a minute. I'm going to move the attorney along because he's got a longer list than I do.
Yes, ma'am.
Stay right there. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Mr. Matson and also Ms. Leal, we're talking about Jonathan Phillips's cases. So where are we with regard to these matters? There are 5 of them.
So, Judge, my understanding is that Mr. Phillips has some additional pending offenses at the county court.
Okay.
And it would be ideal if those could kind of get at least the ball rolling before we make any decisions here. So I was wondering if we could reset this to a court date in August instead of July.
Okay. Let me get my August calendar pulled up. I saw Ms. Leal nodding, so I'm assuming we all agree if I'll do it, we're good. So let me get the August dates pulled up so we can be precise. And probably later in August is my assumption.
Yes,
That
Judge.
would be preferable.
I don't have discovery on the county cases yet, Judge, so those are probably going to be a minute.
Okay. They don't sound interlaced with this one, but it does sound like they might be, in terms of behavior, perhaps similar. So we're going to go ahead and make the assumption that it makes sense to do it this way. I'm going to make that leap for all 3 of us. And I will say, it looks like I'm going to just confirm with the clerk that September 2nd might be our landing date. Is that a Zoom date? Let me confirm that date. Will that date work for you both?
It works for me, Judge.
Yes.
Can you have it one more time, Judge?
I'm so sorry.
Can I
September.
have it one more time?
Yes, September 2nd.
Yes, that wouldn't be a problem.
Apparently I'm wrong. It's not a Zoom date. So let me figure out why I'm thinking that. Okay. So that puts us, I don't know why this is turned around on my calendar, but the 9th is then a Zoom date, September 9th.
I will be on vacation that week, Judge.
Okay. And we're going to bounce it back to August 26th to check in. Okay.
That works for me,
Works for
Judge.
me, Judge.
Okay, I'm going to reset these to that date, and we'll send it to the email that we have on file.
Thank you,
And
Judge.
do we have any further questions before I let you go?
Nothing further.
Okay, then
Nothing from the state, Judge.
thank you so much. You're good to go with the thanks of the court.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Gregory Henley, if you could unmute. There we are.
Yes.
You're meeting with Mr. Matson. And so I'm going to move you over to that meeting, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay. Mr. Woolard, I have some good news, okay? If I did on a deferred, and I would do a deferred, no problem, but we have a pre-program before we do a deferred where folks have a one-off, okay? And with this type of offense, the theft, where a person has the first case we ever see them with here in this court, and they stay on time and they're keeping up with it, which you have, then we have what we call a first offender program. What that is, it's not really legally, it's perfectly permissible, but it's not really like a in the law books thing. I have the option and I've exercised it to have a written agreement with the prosecutor that if a person will reset their case for 30 days, take an online class in theft intervention, which we will give you information about how to find one. And it will be an 8-hour class. Okay. And you're going to pay for that class, and they range from $25 to $100, and you'll find the one you want to take. Okay. There'll be a list, and you can pick what works for you, which you like the look of, so to speak. And you get it turned in on or before your next court date. We just simply dismiss the charge. The fact is, as you've articulated, theft cases impact people dramatically. Okay. They are the class C that just keeps on giving. And I've watched it happen to people. And so I have this agreement with this prosecutor, and I've had one with all of our prosecutors. That's not what we want to do in our community, you know? And if we can get people back on the right track, then let's just get people back on the right track, right? And the money is not the issue. It's really, can you get back on the right track? And the way that you demonstrate that at this point is I need a signature on a single form or maybe two. And I need to email that to you, and you can email it back with your written signature, or you can swing by the court and sign it, which is going to work best for you.
I live right down the road from the court. So when we get done here, I'm more than happy to drive down there right now, and I can sign whatever you need me to sign.
Okay. And so then the thing is, it'll just say, I know I have an 8-hour class due on or before this date. And I agree to be bound by that as an agreement. And I understand that if I turn in my course on or before the due date, which is July 9th, and it'll be written at the top, we'll have the information for how to find a class. Okay. Then I understand that my case will be dismissed with no payment. Okay. You're paying for your course though.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
I granted deferred, I require this course anyway.
Mhm.
So this is like a deferral. Okay. It's actually called a pretrial diversion. And we're allowed to do them if we have written agreements between the judge and the prosecution, which I do. Okay. I've just watched too many careers go away when that was really not what was needed. And let's back up. I'm fond of saying this. Anyone can land in a Class C court, you know. Even my mother is deceased, but she got a ticket here one time, you know. And she was giving me her reason, and I was like, wow, that's a great excuse. And she said, is it? And I said, for teen court, but you're 75 years old. So
yes. And I know that's why one of the things out of the many things I've been running through my mind and thinking to myself, I'm about to go in front of this judge and I'm 46 years old. Like I don't know better to think about what I'm doing here. And I can't thank you enough for giving me the opportunity to handle it in this matter. And you will never see me ever again. If it is, you do see me, it'll be, hi, Judge, can I buy you a cup of coffee or something like that? It'll never be for this again, I swear.
The thing is, I really meet good people here all the time. And you know, when I used to practice in the higher level courts, I mean, if somebody beats another person into a bloody pulp, we all know that's like not a good idea, right? Everybody probably agrees. But when you cross the line a little bit here in the Class C setting, like you go a little too fast, or you know, don't pay for an item, or you threaten a person. These aren't good things. I'm not saying these are good things, but sometimes we're in the moment and we are not realizing we're crossing that line. So if we can get you back to knowing where the line is, then mission accomplished, you know. So that really for your benefit as well as everybody in the community. That's kind of how I see it. So you'll have a deadline. I'm strict about the deadline. Okay. Feel free to get it done over the weekend and turn it in next week. You don't have to wait.
Okay.
Just that deadline, if it's not done, you owe the clerk a visit. You owe me a letter about what is going on. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I'll get on the matter right away. I'm fortunate enough, my son-in-law is actually being promoted in the military.
Right.
He's in Fort Moore, Georgia, so we're leaving tomorrow to go and be with the family, and all of our grandkids are going to be together for the first time in like a year or so. So as soon as I get done with that trip, first thing I'll take before I go back to work next, I'll come get the information, and I promise you I'm going to go ahead and get whatever class I need to take done beginning of next week for sure.
Okay. Well, stay on time and remember, a single action doesn't define a person. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We'll see you soon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Come on by. Your paperwork will be ready in the next 10 minutes at the window.
Okay. If I can come just anytime now. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Come today.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Bye-bye. Mr. Matson, I'm just going to make sure Mr. Henley is moved back into our meeting while I pull his file. Here we go. Thank you, Mr. Henley. I'm going to ask you to unmute so you can participate. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, Judge.
Yes, hi. And so I'm just going to ask the prosecutor, and I'll ask you as well. Let's check in what direction we're heading with these cases.
Judge, Mr. Henley actually has already submitted his insurance to the court, so I would ask to dismiss that at this time.
Okay. I can here in the court, so I'll get that processed. What's next?
He showed me on Zoom that he has a license and that he has updated his registration, and I told him that I would dismiss those as well, but not until they've been turned into the court. And he said he could come by sometime within the next hour so that they can be scanned in by a clerk. So I can send those later this afternoon once the documents have been received.
Okay, so let me just tell you procedurally, Mr. Henley, how we handle these, and these are all kind of compliance level issues. When you bring those documents, I'll sign the insurance dismissal this morning, okay? And then the other two are pending. Sometime today, when you bring those two things by, let the clerk know these are for the prosecutor, and, you know, drop a note to me as the judge per our discussion on Zoom. They'll send it to me. I'll make sure he gets it, and we'll get that dismissal done, those dismissals done. Okay.
Okay.
If anything falls through the cracks, the case gets reset, but I think we'll get it done instead. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Do you have any questions of me before I let you go?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Bring what you and Mr. Matson discussed. We'll make sure he receives it. He'll make sure we get the dismissal. And, you know, that's the direction we're going with all three things. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good one.
And you too. Stay well. Mr. Matson, I am moving you forward with Latamla Cully. Miss Cully Triggs, or I hope I have the gender right. If you could just let me know how you are this morning.
Let me see if my camera's working.
Yeah.
I do. Yes, I'm a female.
Okay, great. Let me move you over to that meeting with Mr. Matson, okay?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. It's just throwing me because it's dinging everybody when they move to the meeting. It's wild. It's really different. What's that? Oh, I know, it's strange. Yeah, it's really behaving differently. But we'll just take it as it is, I guess. We're just hanging out waiting. We're hurrying up and waiting. I'm just signing paperwork on my screen, so you get to watch me do that. It's very exciting, I'm sure. That is to say, not at all. What's that? There will be, but he has to turn in documents. Just
Okay.
do the insurance case, it's in the file. Once the other, I would say at the end of the day, check the file and in case the clerk sends it somewhere we're not anticipating, check the file and see if he turned in his two compliance documents. If he did, then we're good to go. If there's any reason to believe they're not the right thing, then send it over to Ryan first. Yeah. Okay. Let's set up and review for the Cully Triggs case. Mr. Matson, could you tell us where we are? You're muted, I'm sorry.
Judge, I believe that Ms. Chloe Triggs had a question for you about the possibility of doing trial on Zoom.
It's not authorized by state law, and so I'm not allowed to do that.
Okay. Well, so my question, Judge, if I may, so I was telling him about the circumstances surrounding me receiving this citation. Essentially, I was coming back from somewhere else to Texas. I passed through Temple. The noted speed limit was 30 up until we reached the school zone, which I was not familiar with, being that I'm not from that area. I saw the school zone, immediately slowed down. I was given my ticket 2 blocks away from where I was supposedly speeding at the edge of the school zone. And as I told him, I feel like that was unfair, being that I saw it posted, slowed down immediately upon entering it. And I also asked him, how do I resolve this without having to go on my record? And he told me that I would have to pay the citation as well as pay for a class, which is fiscally straining. And I had 60 days to do so. So I said, well, is there a way to argue this? He said, I would have to come to court, which I can't do. I'm in a military PME right now. And actually being here today, missing the hours I've missed is grounds for disenrollment. So I was just trying to see what are my options all around as far as a trial, which you just said I'd have to do in person, or as far as resolution for the fine.
So if you're eligible to do a driver safety course option, which you're military, so you do not have to have a Texas license, okay? I haven't looked whether you have one, but in that situation, if the prosecution doesn't object to it, because we're past the date where we normally do that under state law, but we can, if the prosecution does not oppose it, then I can allow us to sort of go back into that mode. If you did that option, you pay the court cost and not the fine. In that situation, I believe the court costs are 169 instead of the 279. Let me ask first, before I ask you about that, Mr. Matson, would you have any objection to that option being taken?
No objection, Judge.
Okay, so what then would happen, Ms. Cully Triggs, is that, and this is, a no contest plea, which means you wouldn't have to admit or deny the offense, but you would pay only the court costs, which are required by law. I can't waive them because they belong to the state of Texas and not to Temple, Texas. The fine, which does belong to the city, if you complete the program successfully, the fine gets waived. Okay. So I do have the power to do that, which is about $110. At that point, you still would have to take an online class that is supported for a dismissal in the state of Texas. That's available online. You don't have to come here to do that. Because you're military, you're not going to be required to get a copy of your driving record. I think you just sign an affidavit that just says, I haven't had taken this course in the last 12 months for purposes of a ticket being dismissed. Is that a true statement?
No, ma'am, I haven't had anything in the last 12 months.
Right. And so that's what this is really for, is for the one-off situation that people sometimes find themselves in. Um, it's a known outcome. People aren't admitting or denying the charge. It does waive the fines. The costs, as I said, legally, I'm not able to make them go away because they're not under my jurisdiction to do that
Okay.
in this setting. That's probably your least expensive option, which I heard is a concern. It's also a fairness concern. Um, as far as where people are stopped, that's really officer discretion, and I don't control that. I don't know even who the officer is, and I'm not going to look that deeply right now because it's not appropriate for me to yet. Um, it's appropriate, at trial. But the reality is we're driving all the time in areas we're not familiar with. And sometimes things creep up and we miss them. And sometimes we are pulled over and sometimes we are not. And sometimes we realize that we have missed it and we make a correction, and then there's a dispute about whether that was in time or not. And, that's life. I'm not going to rule on that right now. But the least expensive option is to do the driver safety course option. And the other option would be to do a deferral, but in that setting, you pay the full amount of the ticket. You're on a probationary period, and I do still require the exact same course.
Okay.
So
So
two options to do this without admitting or denying the offense that allow you to keep it from being on your record. They basically look the same, except that one saves you money and the other one not so much. The other option is to set the case for trial. I can work, with you on when we did that, but the reality is we have to do trial in court.
okay. So pay the court costs, do the online class, which I'm assuming won't have an additional fee. And
Class is going to cost you money. Yeah, I don't control, those are outside providers. So it's not my class. It's a class approved by the state of Texas for ticket dismissal. So I can't tell a business to waive the
okay.
used to stay in business. I'm not able to do that.
Okay. Will the classes, like, will a list be given to me of?
Not a list, but I do give you information for how to find the proper course so that you don't waste your time. Because there's lots. If I listed them, it would be 15 pages long. So I just give you the information for how to find a class. And people don't usually have trouble with that. Reasonably level of intelligence, which I think you possess, is you'll find a class, you'll take a class. Sometimes you decide you just want to take it all at once. Sometimes you log in and out. You'll have a deadline of 90 days to get it back to us with the affidavit that we send to you, and, a copy of your home license, wherever that's from, and your military ID, and then, you're good to go. You get the case dismissed. So the next question, if you choose that option, the next question is to let us know when you can pay the court costs, which are 169. Hold that thought for a moment, Mr. Matson. I'll let you know if we set for trial or move forward with an alternative dismissal option. I think I've gotten what I need from you as far as approving or agreeing, since it's a contested case right now. I'm going to move you forward with Emildo Bracino, because he's ready and waiting, and I'll let y'all go ahead and have a discussion. Okay. And Mr. Bracino, let me move you over to that meeting. Okay, so Ms. Cully Triggs, go ahead and let me know where you are with this matter.
I guess I would like to pay the court costs and then find an online course to take.
Okay. In other words, you want to know that what's going to happen, and you want to know the outcome is going to be what you would like it to be. That's how I see this. But
Yeah, I would like a predictable outcome and something to not be on my record.
yeah, I understand. Um, People are different, and I don't push it on anybody, but I'll tell you that's what I would do. But everybody's got a different feeling about it. Um, Okay, so when can you pay the 169 and email in your license and military ID?
I could pay right now.
Okay. And we can then email you I think what we do is we email you the information. I'm looking over at the clerk because I don't do a lot of these this way. They usually come to the window and I know you're not here. So we want to accommodate that you're elsewhere right now for your service. Incidentally, we can give you a note. Now, I know it's not the same thing as like jury duty, but we can give you a note that says she was in court, which should give you some protection because it's really not right. But anyway, that sort of bothers me. But what I think we do, just let me make sure I'm looking at the clerk. We email her the papers. She signs everything. Once she signs it and emails it back, then she's good to pay the 169 by phone or online. Okay. There is a credit card, your credit card company is going to charge you, or your debit card company is going to charge a fee. I can't control that one.
No,
And
that's
I think it's a few dollars. I don't know how much it is because it does depend on them. They're allowed to. I know I've researched that one, but anyway, what it starts this process is I email it to you.
okay.
That'll come from that same email where we mailed the meeting for today. Email the court online help. It'll be attachment documents. It should be there sometime this morning. You're going to sign those documents, just print them, sign them, email them back. And then you might call a clerk and just find out if you call them and do it over the phone, they're going to send you a receipt. If you do it online, I think you print a receipt. I mean, I just think it's a good idea to know,
Mhm.
deadlines and know that things are received and know that things are moving in the direction you think they're supposed to move. So, do you have any questions about that?
No, ma'am. I guess I'll just be looking for the email.
Okay. Where is your license from? What state are you from?
My license is from Mississippi. That's where I'm originally from.
Okay. I think we have it already. Do we have our ID and insurance?
Yes, ma'am. I turned that in at some point. I came up there in person before I left Texas a few months ago.
Sure.
So they should have those things. I gave it to someone at a window to when I filled out an affidavit or something.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm just having her find it for us. Yeah, I don't think but her license is in there. Is it valid? I mean, is it okay? Okay. I mean, it doesn't actually have to be, but okay. So yeah, so all we do have your license. All we're gonna need is the military ID and your insurance.
Hmm.
And then the 169, and you'll sign some papers that just spell out what's expected. Here's the rub, okay?
Mhm.
There is an exception under state law if you're military, you're not having to get your driving record from your state, which is going to save you about $12, $15, okay? You don't have to do it. So that's why I want the military ID because it allows me to waive that requirement. That requirement will be on the paperwork after you sign it, or maybe just prior. The clerk is going to draw a line through it because it doesn't apply to you. Okay. All right. So when it tells you like get your driving record, you're not doing that, just the course. Okay. They are going to email that over to you. If you run into any questions, just write your questions back on a reply, or you can always call a clerk to get immediate help. Okay.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Cully Triggs, thank you for your time. Look for that email. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good day.
Thank you. Mr. Matson, I know that you and Mr. Brasino were talking. Where are we with regard to a single charge?
Your Honor, I'm going to move to dismiss at this time.
Okay, yeah, I thought you might. Okay. All right, I will get that generated here in the court based on your representation. Mr. Brasino, I will email that to you And then the case will be done, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
And thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And let's see, hang on just a moment. Okay, Miss Kennedy is here for me. Mr. Matson, I'm going to actually move you and Miss Itzebemo over to, I think y'all are having a discussion about the Kohlhoff case.
Okay.
Okay, and ma'am, if you could unmute and get on screen, that's always helps communication go a little better. Miss Itzebemo, are you there?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, here we go. Can you get on video? Are you able?
You have the video on. I can see myself, but I guess not able to see me.
Yeah, you're going in and out and it shows you muted even though I can hear you. It's really weird. Okay. All right. Let me move you over. Let's see if we can. I'm going to move you over to that meeting. It looks like it's going to work now. And here we go.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Might take a minute. You know, like, oh, it sounds like it disconnected her. Hi, Miss Kennedy. I've got your file pulled out. Give me just a moment to catch up with where we are. We had a payment plan, which I considered to be pretty high amount. That ended. We started getting mail coming back undelivered, which doesn't help you, unfortunately. And then we got another post plea and financial affidavit. I asked to be back to talk to you because I was a little concerned. Give me just another minute. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
The information I have is pretty up to date. It's just from last week. You're working at Speedy Mobile. Is that the case?
Yes.
How long have you been there?
Since they opened last year, August.
Okay, thank you. That helps to sort of know. Are you the only income to your home?
Yes, at the moment, yes.
Because here's what concerned me, and I'm not trying to call you out or make this awkward for you, but I get worried when we have a payment plan that fails and then we have a request for a payment plan again. I don't mind trying that, but when I look and see, like right now, you're the only income, you have two small children, and your rent is more than 50% of your income. And you're paying, it looks like you're paying all that by yourself, right? And
Yes.
there really is not money left over at the end of the day for you to do payment. So normally we do community service. However, when you have two small children, I guess I'm thinking of a newborn is almost like three children. You have a small child and then you have had a loss. When you have I would call it three still, children, there's a lot that you're juggling and like who's going to watch your kids if I order community service. It seems like a pretty intense hardship.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have regular transportation, first of all?
Yes, ma'am. I have a car. I have a vehicle.
You have family here who watches your children when you're not with them?
Um, it just depends. I go through a nanny website where if I can afford it, then I will pay a nanny to watch them for the day. Or I will reach out to family to see if they can help me.
Okay, so you don't have family, um, and you already pay for childcare when you're working, and then this is additional if you have to do this.
Yes, ma'am.
Because your childcare is expensive, which it is. I mean, there's just no way around that.
Yeah.
And then, and then you have a babysitter. Okay. I'm getting to call this what I call an undue hardship. Because if you're paying a sitter so that you can do community service. That sort of makes no sense to me.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, it's just one expense being shuffled in a different direction. Ms. Kennedy, I'm going to waive your fines and costs due to the undue hardship.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think it's fair or appropriate to charge you the money, and I don't think it's fair or appropriate to look for you to do the additional action at your expense of doing community service.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's just where we are on this particular case.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
therefore, the fines and costs will zero out today.
Okay.
Won't have a further obligation to the court. The conviction was already entered, but the obligation to complete it through payment or even community service, which is a hardship, are both waived at this time.
Yes, ma'am.
With the thanks of the court, you're going to be free to go. But I do want to ask if you have any questions of me as the judge of the court at this time.
No, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And again, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Hang in there. I'm sure it will get better.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
You're free to hang up when you're ready, okay?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And so, Mr. Matson, I do want to check in. I know that the connection wasn't great, but it looks like it's working really well now. So let's check in on the Kohlhoff case.
There is an offer on the table, Your Honor.
Okay.
So if we could reset to the next Zoom date, that would be great.
Okay. Miss Isabiano, I know I butcher your name every time. I am so sorry. How do you say it?
Okay, got it right the first time. It's Aitsabamo.
Aitsabamo. Okay. Aitsabamo. Miss Aitsabamo, July 22nd is our next available. Will that date work for you?
Let me check right now.
Great.
Would it be the same time as well?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, that works.
Okay. I will send that to the email that we sent this meeting to. Will that still work?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions before I let you go?
No, Your Honor, that's it.
Okay, you're good to hang up.